Hi, it's Ben Page here, and in this show I'm going to be talking about the 2019 LEGO Hagrids Hut. Now, I usually do reviews of LEGO sets, but there's two reasons I'm not going to do that for this set. Firstly, because it's over a year old and no one cares at this point, or at the very least, very few people care, so there's not really much point in doing a review. Secondly, I just thought it'd be interesting to do a slightly different style presentation, on just sort of talking about the set instead of, I guess, critiquing and analysing it. And I guess in general it's just going to be a less serious, more casual, just talking about the set sort of video. So if you want a review, don't watch this, but if you just want me to talk about the set, then continue watching. I hope you enjoy. Right, so, 2019 Hagrids Hut. I guess the first thing to consider here is it accurate to the films? And I would say, for the most part, yes. However, there are perhaps a few things where it's not entirely accurate. I mean, in the different films, Hagrid's Hut does have, it does kind of have multiple appearances, and one thing that always makes me laugh is it just seems to teleport around Hogwarts as well, so, I mean, that's not really relevant with this set, but that is kind of a funny thing about Hagrid's Hut, is it's all over the place. Like, where even is it located in Hogwarts? I guess that doesn't matter, it's not really relevant to the set, but yeah, it does change appearances a little bit. But I will say, there does tend to be sort of a bit more of a wood frame and, I guess, just a bit more wood in general. Like, it's definitely got stone elements to it, but it's definitely mostly made of wood, I think, from what I can remember from the films, or at least it looks like that. And it's definitely a lot more brown, whereas with this set, it's definitely, and actually all of the sets, it's definitely a lot more greyish. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because it does give it a grounded and sort of realistic look, but it does, in my opinion, look a little bit less accurate because of all the extra grey and all the, I guess, extra colours that, or not even really colours, I guess just extra shades that are there, instead of just sort of having more brown, which I think would look more accurate. I mean, I'm not looking at a picture of it right now, but just from my memory, it's not entirely grey. Or at the very least, there's not as much as are in the LEGO sets. I mean, it looks good, but I feel like it doesn't look entirely accurate in that way. There are also a few small things, like, I think this door that's over here should sort of be more at this angle, although that really doesn't matter, that's just kind of me being a little bit OCD and a little bit nerdy, but I think the door's sort of more over here than over here. That's not really important, I guess. But yeah, overall, looks very good. Nicely detailed set. There's one other minor thing that I kind of dislike about it, and that is, yet again with the door, they used a sticker on it instead of a printed piece. I think I'd rather either just be a plain door, or they had a print on there, because with the sticker, as you can see, if you don't align it perfectly, there's just a little bit of white around the side, and that doesn't look particularly great. I mean, that's not even an inaccuracy thing, that's just, it doesn't look good, so I wish they weren't stickers and they were just printed on. Guess it doesn't really matter, it's just kind of the thing I noticed. One thing I do quite like is all the tiles that are sticking out, because that does add a little bit of extra texture. I feel like that just looks really nice. That's just a nice additional detail they added. A cool building technique as well. Actually, talking of building techniques, or I guess part usage, I really like the use of this arrow piece on the top of the roof, because I feel like that looks really cool. That's always a really nice building technique, or I guess part usage, for that particular piece being used on roofs. I feel like that always looks really good. I also really like this detail of the little bit of plant here and over here as well, because it shows that Hagrid's Hut isn't exactly the neatest place. It's sort of got bits of rock that are sticking out, or I guess bricks that are sticking out, and plants growing over it. It's sort of a little bit rustic. I feel like the general look of Hagrid's Hut, the sort of messy, cluttered look of it, is captured really well, especially in the interior. Just gotta move this around a bit. See, if this was a review, I'd probably just cut that bit out, but no. Just me turning the set around. There we go, okay. So, in the interior, you can see there's a lot of stuff here. There's a treasure chest, there's a spider just hanging here. I'm assuming one of Aragog's children, although it's not really specified whether it is. It's a spider, it's Harry Potter, so I'm assuming, oh, and also it's near Hagrid's Hut, so I'm assuming that that is one of Aragog's, why can't I say the name? I've read the books multiple times. Aragog's children. There we go. Okay. But yeah, I'm assuming it's one of them. It could just be a random spider, I don't know, but that's still a cool little detail. And over here is where it gets really fun. I really like this room because it really captures the cluttered interior of Hagrid's Hut from the films. Like, there's lots of little details. You can see there's Hagrid's chair, which he sits in multiple films. I mean, what else is he going to do with the chair? Yeah, it's the chair he sits in, because he's sitting in it, and that's how you use chairs. But no, anyway, there's an umbrella there. There's... what is that? Whatever, there's a thing in the box there. There's a frying pan there. Oh, it's a shovel. Yeah, it's a shovel. There's a spoon. I'm not sure why Hagrid has a whip, I'm gonna be honest. Anything you need to tell us, Hagrid? You getting up to some dodgy activities outside of school time? Like, what's that for? I don't know, maybe it's for tenderizing meat or something. But there's a bucket, there's a cleaver, obviously for cutting stuff up. I mean, yeah, that's probably what it's for. Maybe Hagrid murders people in his spare time, we just don't know, but there's that. I just really like the cluttered interior of this building because it really captures the look from the film, and it just has a really nice messy look to it that's really accurate. Now, moving on, there's also... oh, I just stuck it down to the base plate. Hang on. There we go. Oh, it was actually stuck by Buckbeak. I thought the plate was sticking to the base plate, but no, it was stuck by Buckbeak for some reason. Didn't know this piece was quite honestly that strong, but yeah. Let's move that a little bit. There we go. Okay. So, there's the side build, which is the pumpkin patch. I kind of wish this was a little bit bigger, but considering how much of Hagrid's hut is included in the set, in fact it's pretty much the entire hut apart from the back of it, so considering that it's got the hut, and it's quite a big hut, and there's nice level of detail, and in general it's a really good building that looks really great, I'm really happy with that. I guess it's fair enough that they didn't include the entire pumpkin patch, but even as just a little bit of it, this looks really good. Like, I really like how this looks. There's lots of nice details for the plants, there's a build-up of earth around here, you can see it's sort of mounded upwards, and then there's the post which attaches to Buckbeak. Now, I guess, talking of figures, first of all there's the Harry Potter. I do have a small problem with this one, not really this set's fault, but just... hang on, I'll put him on the plate here. But, not just this set's fault, but I guess just a general fault with the Harry Potter line. Well, actually with LEGO in general, is what I would call main character syndrome, where every set has to include a main character. And it's the same main character if they're like the main one of a film or video game or whatever. In this case, it's Harry Potter. Now, you do get a lot of Rons and Hermiones and Dumbledores as well, but you get Harry in literally every set. I mean, I kind of get it. You want a kid to have a Harry Potter in a LEGO Harry Potter set, so they're not disappointed. However, it does get a bit annoying when you're collecting all the sets. If you're like a really big fan of Harry Potter and LEGO like I am, you collect all the sets and suddenly you've just got an army of Harrys and they're all wearing the same outfit. It's just like, come on LEGO, really? Like, why does he have the same outfit in every set in this wave? Or, I think he did, like, he definitely has the same outfit in 2 or 3 sets of the wave. The 3 sets that I've got, he's got this exact same outfit. It's just kind of like, I don't need an army of Harrys that are all wearing the same thing. I mean, I don't need an army of Harrys full stop, but at least give them different outfits or something. Moving on, slightly better figure, because he only comes in this set, it's Ron Weasley. I really like the printing on the jumper, or I guess the printing on the torso to represent the jumper. There's some nice texture and lots of depth there with the torso. He's also got a really nice face print, looks very happy. And then the alternate face. I think this was mostly intended for Goblet of Fire because it works really well with some of the facial expressions he pulls during that film, but it does work equally well for Prisoner of Azkaban as well, especially when he's getting dragged off by Sirius Black, although that's more of a screaming face, but this still sort of captures that general look he had on his face during that scene. And yeah, it's just a useful face print in general for, I guess, disgust or fear, or anything in between those two, really. And there's some nice line work on the back of the torso. Yeah, nice figure. And unlike Harry, he's not in every freaking set, so that's cool. Moving on, there's Hermione. And yeah, again, nice figure. Got nice little details on the torso. And there's the sort of zip, which is a nice shiny print. I also really like and really appreciate the little detail, and almost, I guess, Easter egg of the time turner. That's a really nice detail to have on the torso, and it's accurate to the film. It's just a really cool reference, I guess. She also has an alternate face, where you can see she's looking angry. And quite honestly, this reminds me of specifically the scene where she punches Draco Malfoy in the face. I think that's a really good face print to have, because it's got a lot of personality, and it's a reference to, or at the very least I'm assuming it's a reference to a specific scene in the film. As I said, the scene where she punches Draco in the face. I really like that scene, because she could have easily just used a spell on him, but instead she's just like, BAM! And then Draco just runs off. I don't know, I feel like it's a really effective scene. It's not in the book, but it's a really good scene nonetheless. And very enjoyable on rewatching films, seeing that scene sort of play out. It's simple, but very effective. And I feel like this face print captures that moment just before she punches him in the face perfectly. So that's a good face print to include. It would have been nice to also have a Draco Malfoy in this set, but I guess he wasn't in this scene specifically, so it kind of makes sense. Alright, what other figures are there? Oh, two more, right. Oh, hang on, no. Hagrid. I knocked over the camera. Oh, there we go. Alright, I put Hagrid at the front, so there's him as well. Get to him in a minute, but let's take a look at Fudge next. Alright, so there's Fudge. Not really much to say with this figure, although it is cool to finally get Fudge, since he's never appeared in a set up until this point, and hasn't appeared in any sets since this point, so it's a cool exclusive to have Hagrid's Hut, especially as he does appear in Hagrid's Hut in multiple films, The Chamber of Secrets and Prisoner of Azkaban, so good figure to get, and it seems fitting for the set. Also a nice exclusive. But as far as the actual detail of the figure, I don't know, he's got a grumpy face print, he's got a nice bowler hat, that's a really cool piece to get. Only appeared in a collectible minifig up until that point, so good to get it in a easily accessible set like Hagrid's Hut. And he's got nice detailing for the robes, I guess. Also a little bit of print for a tie-in suit underneath. So yeah, nice exclusive figure, not much detail, but still a cool minifigure and cool character to get. Now moving on to the final minifigure, there is of course the Hagrid figure, which is sort of a medium-sized one. Not quite a big fig, but not quite a minifig, but I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, final minifigure of the set is the Executioner. Surprising inclusion considering LEGO is against violence and drugs and, you know, against including, I guess, adult material in sets. So, for example, I guess a good example is that's the reason they didn't make Moe's Tavern from The Simpsons, even though they should, because that'd be a great set and it'd sell really well. It would go really well with the other LEGO Simpsons stuff. I mean, I don't have the other two sets because they're quite expensive, especially on the secondary market. I kind of wish I did get them when they released, because I really like Simpsons. I really like LEGO, so it just makes sense for me to have them, but I don't. I do have the two collectible minifig series though, so that's cool. But anyway, moving back to the Executioner, I feel like it's weird that LEGO included this, considering how against violence they are in sets. I mean, I know he doesn't actually kill anyone in the film, but obviously it's implied by the fact that he's an executioner that he's gonna chop someone's head off eventually, so why is he in this set? I mean, it's a good figure, I'm glad they made him, but, you know, it's just like, what are you doing, LEGO? I thought you were against violence. But I guess not in this case. I guess if it's magical violence, or violence in a fictional setting, it's fine. Or something like that. Well, then again, there's also Indiana Jones, so, I mean, that's a bit more realistic. They literally use actual pistols in that. And there's Nazis in that. And a guy's head gets chopped off. And, in fact, that minifigure is included in that set, so... Yeah, LEGO's weirdly inconsistent with violence now that I come to think about it. I mean, sometimes they'll completely go, no, we can't include this, it's too violent. But then, you know, I guess a guy getting his head chopped off or execution is fine. But either way, you know, it's still a cool character to include. But it's just, yeah, I guess it adds yet another wrinkle to, is LEGO against violence or not? I don't know. Anyway, going back to the actual figure itself, they're not the most interesting character in the film, but I feel like for this set, especially as they do include Buckbeak, and they do include him tied to a post, it makes sense to include him. And it's a really cool minifigure. I really like the detailing on the torso, the face print has a lot of detail as well, and just in general, to get a more obscure Harry Potter character in a set is really cool. I really like this minifig's inclusion, even if, as I said, it goes kind of against LEGO's no violence policy. But whatever, it's still a good minifigure, a cool character to get. Right, well... Oh, Hagrid, right, yeah. There we go. Right, so Hagrid. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like the modern Hagrid minifigure. And now I really wish I'd gotten either the Forbidden Forest or the previous Hagrid's Hut. I mean, this Hagrid's Hut is by far the best Hagrid's Hut LEGO's done, but it's definitely not the best Hagrid they have ever done, because, I mean, firstly, he's way too small. Like, let's just get Harry over for comparison. Hagrid towers over Harry in the films. I mean, he's not a full-on giant, he's a half-giant, of course, but, you know, he's way taller than that. And why is arms so thin in comparison to everything else? What is going on there? Plus, the colouring's all wrong. Like, in the films, he's wearing a dark brown, almost black jacket. It's sort of like a motorcycle jacket, or I guess gameskeeper jacket that you can also use on his motorbike. But, you know, it's definitely not this light brown colour. I'm not even sure what you'd call this colour. I guess nougat? Nougat? Whatever, the colour doesn't matter, or the colour name doesn't matter. But what does matter is that the jacket is definitely darker than that in the film. And I swear in the book it's also described as being quite dark. And yet here it's just this light pale colour. I feel like LEGO may have done this to try and make Hagrid a bit more sort of kid-friendly. Or not even kid-friendly, because they are quite a family-friendly character in the film. But I guess more appealing to children, because it's like, hey, it's a brighter coloured Hagrid, so children are going to like that a lot more than if he was wearing a dark jacket, even though that would be way more accurate to the film. So, I don't know. Like, all the modern Harry Potter figures look really great, but I just personally don't really like the Hagrid. There are just a few things that are slightly off about him. I do like the head. Like, the head looks really good. He's got the shaggy hairpiece, which has lots of texture to it. It looks really messy and scruffy, like he does in the actual film. And that actually matches and reflects the hut itself, so that's kind of cool. How the character reflects the building that he lives in. That's probably a deliberate detail by J.K. Rowling, quite honestly. To have Hagrid be this really scruffy guy, he lives in a scruffy place. Makes sense. It's a cool detail. How the building reflects him. But going back to the LEGO set, yeah, the hairpiece has a lot of nice texture to it. It looks really messy, really accurate to the films. The face print is really friendly, which captures Hagrid's personality perfectly. But I just wish that the torso and arms were a bit better, or at the very least they had a more accurate colour. So, I don't know, a bit of a mixed bag. Definitely one of the worst of the modern Harry Potter figures, in fact probably my least favourite overall. But I mean, it's still cool to get a Hagrid, because I didn't have one previously. It's just I wish this was a slightly better Hagrid for the modern LEGO Harry Potter line in general. Because, I don't know, it's just not a good Hagrid. It's just not a good Hagrid, really. I mean, it's not bad, it's just, yeah, it could have been so much better if it even just had accurate colours, like, that would be nice, but whatever. I mean, the bit of the torso with the red and the brown, like, that looks accurate, but then the actual jacket itself is just not the right colour at all, really. I mean, it's the right, I guess, colour family, but it's just way too light and a little bit yellowish. But I guess that's enough about that, really. Oh, actually, one other thing I did just notice. This is a nice little detail here. The Daily Prophet, the boy who lived, that's a nice printed piece. So yeah, in general, good set. Lots of detail, few inaccuracies, but that's inevitable with any LEGO set based off a thing. Whether it's a film, a book, or a TV show, or whatever. But yeah, really cool details. Overall, looks really great. Nice building techniques, good figure selection. Just wish that Hagrid had slightly better colouring, and perhaps they included a different variant of Harry. No, this one's accurate to the scene, I just would have liked another variant. Maybe even another one in the Prisoner of Azkaban sets. Oh, I mean, this is a Prisoner of Azkaban set, but, you know, another one in the set with Sirius Black and the Dementors. would have been kind of nice. Or a different variant in this set, perhaps one with the jacket off or something. But either way, good figure selection. A few things I dislike about the figures, but good selection nonetheless. Buckbeak's really cool. That looks really accurate to the actual thing from the films, and the actual prop that I went to see in Harry Potter World. So that's a cool inclusion. And as I said, the hut itself looks really great. Nice level of detail, really good colours, looks really grounded and realistic. And yeah, in general, really fun set. I just have a few things that I kind of slightly dislike about it. But overall, it makes for a great display piece, and probably quite a good play piece as well. I mean, I don't play with Lego sets anymore, but I'm assuming a child will have a lot of fun with this one. So, I guess, yeah, I guess that'll be it for this video. Let me know what you think about this new style of video in the comment section below. I mean, it's not entirely new, like, I'm still, I guess, talking about and thinking about the Lego sets, but it's kind of, I'd say, less serious, more sort of laid-back video. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Alright, bye.